Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Dark Horse Comics here. It's Wednesday, which means it's New Comic Book Day. So we are back to show you everything that's new from Dark Horse this week.
Yeah.
A lot more. And also, we're going to go through recent news and announcements because there's a lot. There's an awful lot. Thanks for your patience. This past month, I know we mentioned previously we were dealing with winter storms, even this late in the year, and power outages. So we're still kind of getting back on track with our regular schedule. But we have some more exciting streams coming up for you soon, including returning to these regular Wednesday streams, including some special guests and so forth. So stay tuned for more info coming up. But I want to introduce ourselves. I'm Kara. I'm the usual host. Hi, I work at Dark Horse. But with me today is my colleague, Kate. Hey, Kate.
Hello. I haven't been here in a little bit, but I'm happy to be back with you, Kara, and all our lovely folks watching.
That's so true. Kate, of course, also hosts a lot of our panels, which you can see on things like convention websites. We have the WonderCon panel coming up very soon. That's the next one. That'll be airing Saturday.
Correct.
27. Yes. I want to say
3 p.m. Yes.
And Kate, tell folks what that panel is actually.
Yeah, so I had the privilege of sitting down with some of our folks from Unique Studios. So we announced in January that we had acquired the Unique Studios universe. What Unique is it's a creation from Roy Okupe, who is a Nigerian-American creator. He has been developing a line of African superheroes told by African creators. So that line launches in September, and it's a 10-book line. There's a whole bunch of stuff coming. A lot of that stuff is previously released materials, but there's going to be a lot of new stuff within them, and we're going to keep growing it from there. And I'm really, really excited about this line. Like, obviously I have to say that about everything, but I mean it like a lot for this one, because these creators are absolute stars. Roy's a pleasure to work with and a delight for everyone to meet. And I can't wait to shout his name from the rooftops for the rest of this year and onward.
Yeah. We're all super excited about the Unique line, and Roy is fantastic. For those of you who are regular viewers here, so make sure you check out the panel for WonderCon this upcoming weekend. You can find details on our website, darkhorse.com. But also, we're going to have Roy and some of the other artists who work on the line joining us for a live stream soon. So stay tuned for more details about that coming up. I'm very excited to welcome Roy and Tsukami to show you some of the characters that are going to be in the Unique universe and demonstrate how to draw if you're interested in things like that. So more info coming soon. We'll post that here on our Twitch channel as well as social media and our website as always, darkhorse.com again. And also we are at Dark Horse Comics across all social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, the usual. As I mentioned, we stream every Wednesday here on Twitch, and then afterwards, this and all other things will be available on our YouTube channel as a VOD, so you can watch it again later on. For the live streams, we always run a giveaway. So today's giveaway is going to open now. The new comic book day giveaway this week, the keyword is Lady B, because our big #1 comic out this week, today, in fact, is Lady Baltimore. So Lady B, LADYB, that will enter you in the giveaway. You only need to type it in the chat once and you'll be entered to win. We'll draw a winner near the end of the stream. This time I'm going to ask you to use the claim command. So if you're drawn as the winner, we'll explain that again at the end of the stream, but it's !claim. And I just want to make sure that that's somebody who's still around watching the stream so that you can actually get in touch with us to get your prize. So more info about that. Like I said, we'll draw a winner near the end. You'll win a copy of Lady Baltimore, issue #1, as well as our other new single issues that are out today, which we are about to go into in more detail. But giveaways open now. Lady B is the keyword, and we'll draw a winner near the end. Like I said, if you're watching this later on YouTube as a VOD, sorry, the giveaway only applies during the live stream. But tune in every Wednesday at this time. It is 1 p.m. Pacific time for our live streams. Anyway, onward. Kate, can you remind folks where they can get all of the comics and books that we're going to show off today?
Absolutely. You can get everything we talk about today from your local comic shop. It's been a hard year for them. You might not know that. But as things, quote unquote, come back to normal, they're going to have to recoup a lot of what has happened this last year and, make up for some lost sales, things like that. So really do support your local folks. Here, I just went to Books with Pictures for the first time. People have been shouting their name forever. And so I decided to check it out. And it is a charming and delightful store here in Portland. They have another one in Eugene. So that's one that I'm going to call out today. But wherever you go locally, you can see on our screen that find your local comic shop. I think it's comicshoplocator.com. Go check it out. Go see what there is around you.
Yes. And many have social distancing in effect, pickup, pre-orders. One thing I like to remind folks every stream is that you can subscribe to a comic series. So if you're finding out about something today on this stream, you can go to your comic shop or call them or go to their website and tell them you want to subscribe to that series to make sure you get every single issue as it comes out. They're usually about monthly. And then also we often have special variant covers. Maybe you want to get the Becky Cloonan cover for every Killjoys issue. I don't know, something like that. Tell your comic shop and they'll make sure that it happens for you. Tfaw.com, TFAW is another one that I'll shout out now. It's local for us, but they also have a great website. So wherever you are in the US, especially, you can order from them. And that's kind of it for our housekeeping stuff. Like I said, giveaways open. Enter it now if you're watching live in the chat. Lady B is the keyword to win our single issues out today. We've had a lot of news and announcements.
Yes.
This week, last week, all month. Kate and I know it well because that's what we do. So I'm excited to have Kate with me this week actually to do this because we're going to run through all the recent news and announcements for you. And just a reminder, you can find out more details about everything that we're about to talk about at darkhorse.com. It's on our blog. You can get there real easy from the homepage. So with that said, our first up announcement is something that Kate especially has been working on. So take it away, Kate.
Yes, this has been in the works for a long time. And I think a lot of fans are going to be really fond of it, and it is a RuneScape art book. It's RuneScape, the first 20 years. The fact that this book has been around for this game has been around for 20 years is shocking to me. I remember playing it as a kid, and there's like a common joke that it takes people forever to figure out how to fish in this game. And that is something that I do remember fondly from being like a 10-year-old. So I am really excited to work on this project. It's really beautiful book. It's got a lot of new interesting materials. It's got a bunch of beautiful exclusive interviews, things like that. Dark Horse makes good art books. This is going to be one of many that we come out with this year. It's going to come out later this year, I think. Let me make sure I got that date right.
This fall, or as our friends in the UK say autumn.
Autumn. Yes. Yeah, this book is very British, so get ready for the spellings. Oh God, it's September, correct? I should
I
know
would say
this.
October, but
We'll find out really quick.
let me open one
Either
of my
way, you can
4
pre-order
million
it
tabs.
now. Yeah, you can pre-order it wherever you get your books, your local comic shop, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, IndieBound will give you wonderful local bookstores. Okay, comes out October 5th. So Tara was right.
Got
But
that
yeah, we
same
partnered
time.
with Jagex. That's the studio on that. So feel free to follow them for more information. Follow us on Dark Horse Comics everywhere, and you'll find out more about it as the months go on.
The one thing that in case anybody's seeing this and is confused at all, RuneScape also announced the book themselves yesterday, which is awesome, and we appreciate their support because RuneScape fans, of course, are the ones who are going to want this the most. They're offering the deluxe edition in their store only, so and it's an exclusive to their store, but the standard edition of the art book, which is the one with the red cover, that's available widely wherever you are. Get it through your local Amazon, your local comic shop, your local bookstore, and pre-orders are open now. So with that said, next up in our plethora of news, we had a very exciting announcement for fans of Black Hammer recently. Black Hammer Reborn will be the next series in the ongoing Black Hammer universe. Black Hammer, of course, is the creation of Jeff Lemire. You might have heard of him. He writes like all the comics. Jeff Lemire and Dean Ormston, of course, the creators of the original Black Hammer series. Black Hammer has had many side series. I don't really like the word spin-offs, but you can call them that. They're like deep character dives into the different characters and timelines in the ever-expanding Black Hammer universe. So you've got Sherlock Frankenstein, which explores a villain, Dr. Andromeda, which is one of my favorites with beautiful art by Max Fiumara, that explores a character a little bit earlier in the Black Hammer timeline. So many different series in so many different art styles, and it's an amazing take on superheroes. If you like superhero comics, you will probably like Black Hammer. It's kind of an homage, a pastiche, and a retelling of all of your favorite superhero archetypes. And so the main Black Hammer series came to an end, or a pause really, while Jeff Lemire and others explored all these other characters, including some of the main characters too, like in Black Hammer Visions, which is ongoing right now. In Black Hammer Reborn, we're going to return to the main Black Hammer series. And this one is set 20 years in the future, following the end of the events in Black Hammer Age of Doom, which is where the main series left off previously. In this Reborn series, we're going to welcome a new artist, Caitlin Yarsky, who's another fantastic comics artist. You've probably heard of her or seen her work at some point too, if you're into comics. She's known for series like Coyotes and Bliss. So she's kind of stepping up to take over art duties from Dean for this one, with colors by Dave Stewart, who of course is another very prolific comics artist, and scripts are still written by Jeff himself. Issue number 1 is going to feature a variant cover by Jeff Lemire and Dave Stewart, which you can see here alongside the main cover art. Issue number 1 is going to arrive June 23rd, and it's available for pre-order now from comic shops. And just some other fun things about this series. Issues 5 through 8 will feature guest artists, including Malachi Ward and Matt Sheehan, plus some others. So stay tuned. They're already kind of teasing the return of Inspector Insector, if you remember that fun little pulpy dude from previous issues.
I love Inspector. Oh man,
yeah.
I love Black Hammer because there's a character for everybody, you know. I consider myself pretty new to comics, all things considered, and Black Hammer was one of the first things that I really started reading, and it really introduced me to a lot of kind of the tropes in a really interesting and unique way, and every character is so well thought out by Jeff and the teams. So and you can jump in basically with any series, I would say. I just finished reading Barbalien. I think a new issue just came out today, actually. But it's beautiful. It's a tearjerker. Yeah, I highly recommend all of it, and you can start anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. You could pick up with Black Hammer Reborn too, but
Absolutely.
you know, I would recommend checking out some of the other stuff first, just because it's so good, especially the main
Good.
series.
Yeah.
It's all available widely in collections now. So you can get, Volume One and Volume Two in library editions, which are the big oversized hardcovers, as well as trade paperback sized volumes. So all kinds of Black Hammer collections. We have a reading order suggested on our website. And like Kate said, I think there's kind of something for everyone. Like, I love Dr. Andromeda. That's largely because I love Max Fimar's art. But if you love more like the gritty Dark Knight, like Frank Miller style comics, you would probably like Skulldigger and Skeleton Boy, which is the most recent miniseries.
I really liked Skulldigger and Skeleton Boy.
Yeah, I think like everybody does.
Mhm.
It's really popular, which is great. That one has art by Tansi Zanjic, and like, it's so stylized and like graphic designy. It's a nice one. And I mean, Colonel Weird Cosmogog came right before that with art by Tyler Crook. Just gorgeous. So again, character studies, depending on what era of comics you like personally, there's something for everybody. So Black Hammer Reborn returns to the main story for those who really wanted to get back to the heart of Black Hammer, and could be a good jumping on point, or at least something to encourage you to pick up Black Hammer if you haven't yet. So pre-order comic shops right now.
The next on our list of new announcements is Parasomnia. So any fans of horror comics are going to absolutely want to pick this up. Call your local comic shop right after you finish watching this. Tell them to pull it for you when it comes out. It is by Colin Bunn and Andrea Moody. Colin, of course, is famous for Harrow County and so many other wonderfully spooky things. He's also just recently done Cyberpunk for us, so he can really run the gambit on what kind of spooky you're looking for. And then Andrea Moody has done Starship Down with us, as well as several others. I'm a huge fan of watercolor, and as you can see from that cover down there, this is going to be a big one for that. It's a really, really beautiful book so far of what I've seen from it. And a very complicated storyline. So I'll read a quick blurb for you. After the disappearance of his son, one man becomes a captive in a nightmarish dreamscape in order to find him. As dreams and reality blur together in growing panic, a ruthless cult seeks to break down the barrier even further and rule the land of dreams. Can our hero and his son return to the real world, or will they be trapped forever in limbo? I can absolutely tell you that there will be twists that you do not expect. There will be turns you never imagined. It's got cults, it's got dreams, it's got nightmares. Anything you could want in a horror book, it's got. And I can't wait for people to see it.
Colin Bunn, master of horror.
Fun. Yeah, that's all I need to say. You already won it.
Pretty much, yeah. Man, yeah, I've been following Colin's work for a really long time, like before Harrow County even. So if you're a fan of like The Sixth Gun also, that's another really solid one. I don't know why I'm suddenly coughing. Kate and I both have been, I think, a little bit by allergies.
Horrible.
Here in the Pacific Northwest, so sorry about that. However, the news must go on. So I'm going to flip the switch a little bit. We have a lot more horror coming up because, of course, it's Dark Horse and we do a lot of horror, but we also do a lot of fantastic video game adaptations, both in art book form and also in comics. And so fans of Apex Legends, I have some more good news for you. We recently did the art and lore book called Pathfinder's Quest, which was a really cool deep dive into lore that you'd probably never gotten before. And in fact, I know that the developers and writers actually came up with a lot of it for that book. And you can see a cool video they made about it, about working on that book and putting it together actually on our YouTube now. But in addition to Pathfinder's Quest, we are also going to be releasing The Art of Apex Legends out this October, and a new comic series. So Apex Legends Overtime is the name of that comic series. It In this miniseries, the legends from the Battle Royale video game find themselves pulled together to rescue the city from mad scientists, brutal assassins, and the sudden and sinister grip of the Syndicate, a corrupt cabal attempting to fix arena outcomes in their favor. Will the legends hold up to their celebrity status and be the heroes Solace needs? Find out in Apex Legends Overtime. So this comic series will be by Jesse Stern, Neil Edwards, Keith Champagne, and have cover art by Bengal, which is what we're looking at now. Bengal is a well-known artist. He also does covers for our Overwatch comics, for example, Tracer London Calling right now. Issue number 1 of this series is going to arrive June 2nd, and you can pre-order it now at your comic shops.
Yes, this is another one of our wonderful video game licenses that I'm really excited kind of get to have this special feature. And the fact that it's also going to be a comic series now is really exciting to me.
Yeah, this is like the first time in a Battle Royale video game. I mean, it's true of our Overwatch comics too. There's not exactly a lot of time for, story and lore.
Yeah.
So the art books, they're always art and lore, like Pathfinder's Quest, for example. And these comics will give you more of the lore and of the world and the world building and the characters. So this is really cool, I think, for Apex Legends fans, and hopefully you'll check it out.
I certainly will be. Next on our list of new announcements, there were so many. We cannot express how many announcements Kara and I just did.
And they're not done yet.
No, never. Mafiosa is, so the name might be familiar to you, the cover probably isn't, but Mafiosa was a comic series that was kickstarted just in 2019. I almost said last year, but it's 2021. From creators Sunshine Barbito, Elisa Alfalno, Deborah Carita, Rhonda Pattinson, and Maria Cristina, as they bring to life Nicoletta, our hero. Questionable hero. The youngest in a Sicilian American family, Nicoletta has aspirations to join her brothers in the family business, an organized crime syndicate running the streets of New York. This is not just the tale of a woman's rise within the crime family, but a genre-busting look at how the players in this mafia story are transformed. So it's both kind of a twist on, mafia stories, of course. You can figure that out from the title, but there's a lot more to it, and there's a lot of growth in these characters that I'm really excited for people to see. Sunshine is pretty new to comics, so it's a good debut for people to check out, to see some people who are maybe new, but this certainly will not be the last you're hearing of her.
Yes, we have a lot of new things debuting and new creators coming into the fold. So this is pretty exciting. The story sounds really cool. So yeah. I'm excited to check this out.
Yes, pick it up in October, but of course you can pre-order it now anywhere where you pre-order your books.
I'm going to flip it around in another kind of 180 here, but also recently announced, Critical Role fans, our line and our partnership with our friends at Critical Role continues to expand. It's very exciting. I love Critical Role too. So, I work closely with this team, and we're thrilled to be able to reveal to you the next book in the Mighty Nine Origins line. This line is going to be an ongoing series of hardcover graphic novels, each one featuring a different character. The first two that we already announced with Critical Role are going to feature Jester and then Caleb. The next book that has been recently revealed will feature Yasha. And yes, her last name is on there. We didn't reveal it in this book. It was revealed on the series, if you paid close attention. Critical Role Mighty Nine Origins, Yasha Naiduran is the full title. All three of these Mighty Nine Origins books are available for pre-order now. Comic shops, bookstores, all the usual suspects. This is very exciting because we all love Yasha. She's, badass, and played by Ashley Johnson, of course, who also consults on this book along with Matt Mercer himself, as he always does. He is the master storyteller. In this book, we're going to dive a little bit into the backstory of Ms Yasha. So I'm going to read you a little blurb so you get a little flavor for this. For Yasha, there has always been a storm on the horizon. Maybe it formed with her adoption by the Dollarov people in the harsh lands of Xhorhas. Or perhaps when she fell for her first love, Zoala. Or still later, when grief and madness drove her from her village and out into somewhere else. Maybe, on the other hand, Yasha is the storm. So we're going to dive into the backstory of Yasha, and it's going to be emotional. Get your tissues ready. This particular book, each book is going to feature a different creative team. So like I said, if you want to check out the Jester and Caleb books to see who's working on those, we've got full listings on our website right now. For Yasha, we're going to welcome writer Cecil Castellucci, fantastic, known for many comics. Here at Dark Horse, she's worked on Soupy Leaves Home. She's also done Batgirl, some other small comics like that. She is joined by artist William Kirkby, who has worked on previous Critical Role comics with us, and Rat Queens. Colorist Diana Sousa, who's newer and is also coloring the Caleb book, and letters by Ariana Maher, who, of course, letters the main Critical Role series, Mighty Nine. Well, she's currently working on Vox Machina Origins, rather, and now we'll be working on this Mighty Nine series too. She also now colors for Star Wars, so that's pretty cool. She's doing really well, and I'm very excited for her. And again, like I said, we always have Matt Mercer consulting on these, and of course, Ashley Johnson herself on her own characters. So each book in this series is, as I said, hardcover, and they retail for $17.99 US. Available wherever books are sold, available worldwide in English through all your usual comic shops and bookstores. So check them out. Jester, Caleb, and now Yasha. We can't tell you what's coming up next, but when we can, we will. Stay tuned.
Next on our list is a new single issues series called The Secret Land. So this one is from creators Christopher M. Gard and Thomas Era. They are the creative team behind The Whispering Dark, which came out, I think, 2019, I would guess, if I had to take a guess. And they've created a Lovecraftian horror / World War II retelling / star-crossed lover's tale. It's really everything you could hope for in a book. It's a little campy, very spooky. It's a really fun read, I think. But a quick overview of this guy. It is 1945 and Hitler is dead. Ben and Catherine are supposed to be happy together. Instead, Ben fights the war in the Pacific with reckless heroism, believing his fiancée to be dead. However, Catherine lives underground aboard a German submarine. Will they get together? Will they find each other again? What lies in the Pacific? What lies in Antarctica? I guess you'll have to find out.
Read and find out.
Yeah. This book the first issue launches in June 9th. But if you want to see more of Christopher and Thoma's earlier work, definitely check out The Whispering Dark, which is already available wherever you get your books.
It's kind of a sleeper hit, that one, The Whispering Dark.
Yes.
Yeah. If you like kind of Apocalypse Now, but horror, supernatural, that's kind of Chris Gard's jam.
Yeah, I would consider it definitely a slow burn, but the payoff in those last couple issues are really worth it. And they did kind of the similar thing, I think, what The Secret Land is going to do in The Whispering Dark, where it really does tie in a bunch of related topics together. So it builds these characters up and puts them in situations that really challenges them in unique ways that you wouldn't expect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Christopher is a really excellent writer, script writer. So yeah, it's fun to see these come to life in comics. He's also done video game work, and yeah. Also, I'm not going to flip it 180 this time. We're going to stay in horror, but we're going to go into more of a horror humor blend. In case you missed it, we announced a new project between Mike Mignola and Warwick Johnson Cadwell called Falconspear. So Falconspear is an original graphic novel that is a return to Our Encounters with Evil and Mr. Higgins Comes Home. So if you read those, each one can be read on its own, but they feature the same cast of characters. So this one returns us to the world of Professor J.T. Meinhardt, Mr. Knox, and Ms. Mary Van Sloan. This one is actually, so it's co-created by Mike Mignola, and he has provided a cover with Dave Stewart, but all of the interior art and scripting in this case is all by Warwick Johnson Cadwell. We've had him as a guest on a previous stream talking about the Mignolaverse. You can go back and catch that on our YouTube as well. He's known for his kind of sketchy, cartoony style, and it works so well for these comics, which are very much a blend of like Victorian gothic horror humor. If you like What We Do in the Shadows, for example, I think you'll like these. So this eerie Victorian style mystery delivers horror, humor, and the kind of off-kilter, charming twists that fans of their previous collaborations will love. And in this particular volume, monster hunters extraordinaire, Professor Meinhardt, Mr. Knox, and Ms. Van Sloan have teamed up to slay spooks and investigate the uncanny. Now, though, they're going to tackle a question that's haunted them for years. What happened to their friend and vampire slayer extraordinaire, James Falconspear? So this, I don't know. We'll have to find out. Yeah. And it's gonna be a fun ride because Warwick Johnson Caldwell is hilarious. His art is amazingly expressive. And if you haven't checked out the other two, you should definitely go to your comic shop and see if you can find them because they're fantastic. This volume will be on sale September 29th, very end of the month, and in bookstores on October 12th. So you can pre-order this now from both comic shops and bookstores. Falconspear with an E on the end.
None of these books that Mignola and team are creating feel unnecessary. Like every time I'm like, I don't know if I need to read that story. And then I read it. I'm like, oh no, I really did. I did need to know that. I didn't even realize. So I think this is going to fall into that category as well, where it's one that I hadn't really considered that they needed to build out. But as soon as it was announced, I was like, oh, wait, I do want to know this.
It definitely started for them as like a passion project. I've kind of interviewed both of them about the other books prior to this, and they wanted to work together. And Mike had a fun idea for a sort of a silly Hammer horror inspired story, which if you've read other interviews with Mike, he loves the good old Hammer horror. So this all just kind of came together, and Warwick is the perfect artist for it. And yeah, I can't recommend him enough. If you like that brand of kind of classic pulpy horror humor, Victorian Gothic. Yeah, it's got everything to love.
Yeah. All right, we are coming up to the end of our announcements, but we are not there yet. I am going to talk really quickly about the Kingdom Hearts character files. So this is another new art book. We just recently released another Kingdom Hearts lore book, and this one is going to expand on that specifically in the world of characters. So explore the Disney-filled world of Kingdom Hearts with this in-depth look into the beloved characters from the most popular games in the series. In addition to highlighting each character's evolving appearance and the unique costumes, it also illuminates the entire cast's stories and retells their adventures from across the series. So if you know anything about Kingdom Hearts, there is a vast assortment of characters to talk about. And I think this book is going to do a really good job of telling you everything about each of them. So this book is a localization from the book that's already out in Japan. We have a great localization team who is expert in doing this, and they've done so many fantastic ones. And I think this is going to be a special edition art book because it focuses solely on the characters. Of course, the settings and stuff are so fascinating, so beautiful, but Kingdom Hearts really is about the characters that you meet and their stories that develop along the way. And I think this is going to bring a lot to the world that is created in them.
Excited to bring these over to North American audiences, all the fans of Kingdom Hearts. I have seen all of the comments asking for Kingdom Hearts stuff. So Here you go. Here's another one.
This one will arrive October 19th. Once again, available for pre-order all over.
It's almost like we announce things when they become available for pre-order.
Interesting. Consider that.
Also available for pre-order, Neil Gaiman fans, of which I myself am one. We have Norse Mythology ongoing now at Dark Horse. We're going to talk a little bit more about a collection that's available now shortly. But first, we just recently announced that the series will continue. It's going to keep going starting in June. So Dark Horse has previously done an adaptation of American Gods. And I compare this to that because we're doing it in the same way where Norse Mythology, the award-winning book by Neil Gaiman, is being split into 3 arcs. And so there are going to be 3 series of comics. The first series just concluded with issue number 6, So each 6 issues will be collected into a hardcover volume. So there'll be 3 volumes total, each collecting 6 issues. Each short story in Norse mythology is illustrated by a different artist. So the whole adaptation is scripted by P. Craig Russell, who is a constant collaborator with Neil Gaiman. They work really well together. Russell does a fantastic job adapting Neil's novels into comics form. And then I've got a preview page in here so you can see Mike Mignola, for example, worked on one of the earlier stories. This new series is going to welcome artists including, not limited to, but including Matt Horak, who has worked on things like The Punisher, Mark Buckingham, Hellblazer, Miracle Man, Gabriel Walta, who's currently working on our Barbalien series, Sandy Jarrell, who Archie, and continuing to work with colorist Laverne Kinzierski and letterer Galen Showman, who are doing the whole series. We also still will have variant covers done by David Mack, the incomparable. So Norse Mythology 2 begins with issue 1, June 16th, and you can pre-order that now at comic shops, and it will continue the next series, the next arc in Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology.
All right, so we are going to take a bit of a turn for this next announcement, and that is Mystery Girl is in production with Netflix right now. I bet most people missed this tease, and also it was a while ago now, but I do want to just shout out. So Tiffany Haddish is set to star, and she's also producing it, which is fantastic. But years ago, when this first started, was a star in Dark Horse's eye. She had signed on to work on the project, and she mentioned in an interview where someone asked if she would ever play a comic character. She half kind of mentioned, she was like, I would love to play Mystery Girl. And it was a tease that a couple people picked up at the time. We're like, I wonder if this is a thing that would happen. But she knows her comics. And so people were like, oh, this is a little bit of a sleeper hit. Surprised she mentioned it. But it's because she was working on this. And I thought that was such a fun tease. And I've been wanting to talk about that since. And I'm so glad that this is finally announced. But if we don't have any dates or anything yet, we'll continue to share as we go. Follow us on Twitter. Feel free to follow Tiffany as well. I'm sure she'll talk about it as soon as she can. But the series based on Dark Horse comic of the same name, created by Paul Tobin and Alberto Albuquerque. A little overview on what this is. Trine knows everything. Ask her a question like, where are my keys? Or how are there perfectly preserved mammoths in recent ice? And she just knows. She's the mystery girl, and she solves the neighborhood mysteries for $50 a pop. When a down on his luck LAPD officer, Cooper, seeks out Trine and hopes she'll help him crack a case, the two are framed for murder and must work together to clear their names. Fantastic plot. It's fun. It's light, but it's also got, some heavy topics in there. I really think people are going to enjoy this one, and I am really excited for the folks who are on it.
We have some other exciting TV related news. Another humor series, actually. Resident Alien. Have you guys been watching it? It's on Sci-Fi now.
It's so nice. It's been so charming. It's such a delight in my week. Every week I'm like, oh, I gotta watch a new one. And they're so delightful, and they're so warm.
It's really fun. I have only watched, I want to say, 3 episodes so far. But I'm really enjoying it. Resident Alien, the sci-fi series, of course, is based on the comic of the same name, which we're showing you the omnibus cover right now, which collects the first few series. Resident Alien has been going on as a comic for quite a while, actually, at Dark Horse, and it's been kind of an underground hit, I think. Like a lot of non-Big Two comics, I think it's been a little bit under the radar, but I'm glad that it's finally seeing the light of day. Created by Peter Hogan and Steve Parkhouse. Resident Alien follows a stranded alien, Harry Vanderspiegel, who takes on the identity of a small town doctor. And in the series, that doctor is played by none other than Alan Tudyk, who, if you're a fan of Firefly especially, you know who that is. That's Wash. He's amazing. He's so good. He's humor, and it's just, you have to watch it. He's so good at portraying this alien who's figuring out how to be human and how strange we all are. in this town, this small town. In the series, the town is in Colorado. In the comics, the town is actually in Washington, but whatever. Small town with very strange and interesting characters, and they're all just kind of learning how to get by and be strange together. Harry does have an ulterior motive. He's supposed to be destroying humanity, but he's kind of having a hard time doing that. And he's being pursued by, various alien hunters and so forth. So you should check out the series. They have some amazing guest stars on there as well. There was a recent little mini reunion, in fact, with one of his Firefly co-stars, which you should watch to find out who that is and how that happens. Some other huge guest stars. I think my favorite is, I haven't watched the full episode yet, but the Ancient Aliens guy makes a little appearance.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Oh, it's so good. Everybody, the whole cast is so fantastic. Sarah Tomko as Asta, for example. Corey Reynolds is the sheriff. Alice Wetterland, Levi Feeler. Just everybody is so good. In the series, there is a dog named Cletus. Very important. He's like a deputy sheriff, basically. Deputy Liv is one of my new favorites, thanks to the series. So all this is to say, it's going to continue, guys. Resident Alien has been renewed for season 2. I don't have info or dates yet. First, we're not even done with the first season. The 10-episode first season will wrap March 31st at 10 p.m. Eastern and Pacific on Sci-Fi. So you still have some episodes coming up. You can go back and watch the previous episodes actually on the Sci-Fi website. And it's going to be on Peacock, which is not a service that I actually know anything about, but apparently it's NBC Universal's streaming platform. So you can watch it there, and they're going to continue to add episodes as they are after they're aired. So yeah, every Wednesday you can catch the new episodes, and then on Fridays they'll be added to Peacock, and you can watch them on Sci-Fi as a website.
Yes. I really recommend Resident Alien to friends and family and whoever I can get a hold of. It's just been a really, hard year, obviously, for everyone. And this is just something that's light and fun and, a joyous look at community. And I think that's something that we all need quite desperately right now. So I happily recommend.
It's really good. And the comics are really good. And we have a new series ongoing right now, actually. So make sure you check that out.
Yes. I think we're on the 5th volume.
Oh my gosh. I think so. Yeah. The current series is called Your Ride's Here, and we're kind of midway through it, but you should still be able to pick up the single issues at your comic shop. We just had another one come out last week. So get them while they're fresh. And the omnibus is a great place to start because you get the first few series in one.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my gosh, we made it. We made it through the news. We have 2 more things before we finally get into new releases. First, Free Comic Book Day. It's gonna happen, pandemic or no. That the pandemic has affected the date. Usually the official comics industry event, Free Comic Book Day, takes place in May, but the last year and this year it's moved to accommodate for the pandemic because we shouldn't really be gathering in large, closely packed groups of people. It will this year be taking place on August 14th, and Dark Horse's 2 issues have been revealed. First up, the silver issue. Kate, do you want to tell people what it is?
Yes, the silver issue is going to be Legend of Korra and Avatar: The Last Airbender. They're going to be 2 short stories, one from each. And it's only called the silver issue because that's the one for kids. I don't want people to think it's not gold because it's not special, because it is very special. Yeah. It's going to be fun. It's going to be beautiful.
We don't pick the colors or like the metals.
Yeah, exactly. But you'll be able to pick that up along with any of your other free comics on Free Comic Book Day. Also, make sure you check in with your Free Comic Book Day folks, so whoever your comic shop is, to see which ones they'll carry. If you happen to go before Free Comic Book Day and you want them to be carrying this one, maybe let them know. Maybe reach out and be like, hey, this was a cool one, and then they'll probably have it for you.
Yeah, that's a really good thing to point out and keep in mind is not every comic shop does Free Comic Book Day, and not every comic shop will have every issue. So if you really want these, check around. Comicshoplocator.com can help you find more comic shops, and you can see if who's in your area and if they might have this, and ask them also to carry this one specifically to make sure they order it. We also will make all of these available after the event takes place on Dark Horse Digital for free to read. You can read past Free Comic Book Day issues still on our digital website right now and in the app. That is, just search Free Comics on digital.darkhorse.com in order to see previous ones, including some past Avatar and Korra stories that we've done for previous years of Free Comic Book Day. So that's pretty cool. The point of Free Comic Book Day, though, is to hopefully get you to support your local comic shop. So if you can, please check them out and see if you can get these issues there. The gold Free Comic Book Day issue is, again, I don't know why they decided gold and silver, but this one is more for mature audiences. Our Free Comic Book Day gold issue this year features, once again, Critical Role, and it's a new Mighty Nine Origins short story. And then it will also feature a short story set in the world of The Witcher. Our Witcher comics are all set in the CD Projekt Red video game universe of The Witcher, to be specific. You can see creative teams and a lot more info at our website, darkhorse.com, as well as freecomicbookday.com. And freecomicbookday.com can also help you find out more info about participating comic shops. So stay tuned. When we have more details to share, we shall do so. But for now, that's the lowdown on Free Comic Book Day. Okay, we did it. Digital sale, super fast. Before we dive into new releases, as always, we have an ongoing digital sale this week, and it is a Baltimore digital sale featuring Mike Mignola's Baltimore, the actual main series of Baltimore. Everything is 50% off. That includes collections and singles. And that is, of course, in honor of our new release this week, today, Lady Baltimore, which expands the Outerverse and focuses on a character named Sophia from the main Baltimore series. So if you're a Baltimore fan, jump on this digital sale, digital.darkhorse.com, also in the app. And like I said, everything is on sale for 50% off. So this is a great time to collect. If you haven't tried Baltimore, I highly recommend it. It's classic Mignola with Christopher Golden, who is a well-known prose writer, and they're a fantastic team with beautiful art. Just check it out. I love it. If you love history and, you know, fighting evil Nazis and supernatural, you'll love Baltimore.
Yeah, when we announced this project, which was way back because it got delayed a little bit because of the pandemic, that cover by Abigail Larson is so insanely beautiful that I can't believe it. Yeah,
Abigail Larson's art is amazing. I'm a fan of her art just anyway, so to see her connected with this project was just absolutely kind of mind-blowing, honestly. So yeah, without further ado, I guess I can now talk about the new releases starting.
I know I got too excited about Lady Baltimore and I jumped the gun a little bit.
No, I do not blame you, first of all. And we are at that point. So yeah, let's talk more about Lady Baltimore, or Lady B. All under lowercase. Lady B, PS, is the keyword to enter the giveaway today. If you're watching live and in the chat, enter that once and only once, Lady B, in the chat to win a copy of this new issue. Lady Baltimore, the Witch Queen's #1 at long last is here. If you are a regular viewer of our streams, you probably know that we recently, it's been a little while, we had a preview stream of this comic where we had artist Bridget Connell and co-writer Christopher Golden join us to talk about this, along with Katie O'Brien, who is our awesome coworker and the editor on all things Mignola. We talked about Lady Baltimore and the expanding Outerverse, which the Outerverse includes the universe of Baltimore and interconnected with Joe Golem, for example, which is another series by Mike Mignola and Christopher Golden. So a lot of great material out here. Lady Baltimore is especially exciting to me because it expands the universe in a way that features a female lead and the creative team features some fantastic women artists. So we have, as I said, Bridget Connell doing interiors and Abigail Larson doing the just phenomenally beautiful covers for this series. And Michelle Madsen actually colors a great deal of Mignola verse comics already. So it's great to have her on board as well. Lady Baltimore, as I kind of mentioned a second ago, features Sophia. Sophia Volk is her full name. In the Baltimore series, she was living in a village that had been overrun by evil. Over time, in the main Baltimore series, she became Lord Baltimore's most trusted ally. Now, this is set in the future, so now more than a decade after his death, Europe has erupted with the early battles of World War II, and dark forces are on the rise again. With witches, vampires, and Nazis on the march, Sophia must embrace the title of Lady Baltimore, but can she fight monsters without becoming a monster herself? I don't know. You'll have to read and find out. But Sophia is a badass, right? She's been training her whole life now to fight monsters. She's really good at it. She is incredibly smart. So I have faith in her. And as we've shown some preview pages and some art snippets on the previous stream, Bridget Connell is doing an amazing job with all the monsters and creatures in this. There's something for everyone. Of course, Mike Mignola has, kind of the overall ideas of what the monsters and creatures are going to look like. You might have noticed he kind of likes monsters. So lots of great action. It's just super exciting. I'm so glad that this series is finally coming to light.
Me too. Yeah, I obviously I'm very excited because I got too pumped to talk about it. But I really do think Bridget captures Mignola's vibe so well. Like the energy of the book is something that you really do expect from the Mignola verse, and I think she's a fantastic addition to the team.
I'm very excited to be working on it, and yeah, she's doing a brilliant job. So check this out. It's new in comic shops today. Swing by your comic shop this week or order online if you can. But Lady Baltimore, the Witch Queens, whether you're new to Baltimore or Mignola in general, or if you're a longtime fan, I think this is a great jumping on point and might inspire you to try out some more. If you love folklore, fighting Nazis, fighting evil, all that good stuff, you will love this.
Also out in comic shops today is Crimson Flower #3. So this is a new series from Matt Kindt and Matt Lesniewski, the Matt Squared, along with colorist Bill Crabtree. And they are taking a look at a young woman whose father was murdered, and she is on a revenge mission. So in this one in particular, after taking down 4 assassins she met at a Russian dive bar, as one does, Rodion continues her hunt for her father's murderer and comes face to face with perhaps the ultimate killer who may have the answers. It's fun, it's unique, the art's really interesting. I hadn't seen Matt Lesniewski's work until pretty recently, but I am really intrigued by the way he captures art. This isn't our only project with him. We also have another one coming out called Static pretty soon. That one comes out late April. But I highly recommend kind of jumping on the Lesniewski train early while we are in Crimson Flower, just to see the work that he does and the way he, plays with the colors that Bill Crabtree does. It's really interesting work.
Yeah, his style is very unique, and it varies so much even within the comic. Like each issue, each page, you'll have these beautiful, very folkloric looking depictions of our main character at times, very classic Slavic looking, details, flowers, etc. And then just this kind of almost body horror, like tricky, turny, intricate violence. And this is definitely Kindt at his usual Kindt best. It's very
so the Kindtiest.
Yeah, the Kindtiest for sure. Yeah. I wasn't sure how he was going to like intertwine the two concepts of Slavic folklore and like an assassination like government plot, but it's Matt Kindt, so of course he can. And yeah, this series is really interesting. I think if you're a fan of Kent, or even if you just are kind of intrigued by this concept or this art style, it's worth checking out if you haven't yet. I've been pleased to see that it's been well received. So
yeah, I would also be remiss if I don't talk about that variant that you can see right now by Marguerite Sauvage. Beautiful, beautiful, stunning. I don't have anything else to say besides it's wonderful and amazing.
her work is fantastic. She's got another cover with us coming up. Super exciting to be working with her. So yeah, that's a gorgeous cover. Also, speaking of very gorgeous variant covers too, today does bring the end of one of the current Black Hammer series, actually. It's a bit bittersweet because this series has been fantastic. Barbalien, Red Planet, issue number 5 is out today, bringing this miniseries to a conclusion. And this is one of those series we mentioned before that focuses in on one of the main characters of the Black Hammer universe, of course, the titular Barbalien, also known as Mark Marks. This series has been it's hard to even put into words. It's extremely well done, and it deals with a lot of serious issues. It's set during the 80s, during the height of the AIDS crisis. Mark Marks, or Barbalien himself, has a lot of different identity crises going on. He is gay, and he is trying to live in a pretty difficult world. And he's also, at the same time being hunted by a bounty hunter from his home planet of Mars. So there's a lot going on all at once. In this chilling finale, Barbalien faces age-old hatred from both Mars and Earth as he clashes with the bounty hunter after his head, and tensions finally boil over between his two lives as a police officer by day and hero with Black Hammer, leaving the young man that he has come to love in the dangerous crossfire of a riot that has been building this whole time. So it deals, like I said, with a lot of serious themes, but it's really beautiful. It kind of gives you a glimpse at some other characters within the Black Hammer universe that I think we'll see more of. For example, Dr. Day, who is someone I very much want to see more of. Just every character in this series is brilliant and so fleshed out, and I can't recommend it highly enough. The series is by Tate Bromball, with Gabriel Hernandez Walta on art, colors by Jordi Belair, and letters by Aditya Bidikar. So it's also an entirely LGBTQ team. Every variant cover artist has also been LGBTQ, and in this case, we have Nick Robles providing this absolutely stunning, colorful variant cover. I mean, they all have been, let's face it. The main cover by Gabriel Hernandez Walta also is fantastic for this one. The first issue showed Barbalien in chains. And
I was just going to mention that, yeah.
Breaking them, yeah. So we got there, folks. So, and again, this is set kind of earlier in the timeline. So this is actually happening before the events of the main Black Hammer series. So this is another one where you get to see more of what brought those Black Hammer characters together, and just a beautiful character study. Yeah. And Jeff Lemire, of course, is involved with all of these. So you have his touch throughout as well, but just a beautiful job. Barbalien, Red Planet, concluding this week. It will be collected. You can find more details at darkhorse.com.
Yeah, Barbalien is a tearjerker, so definitely be prepared for that one. Like I said, I just finished that. I didn't realize it was actually coming out today. And yeah, there were some tears shed.
P.S. Also, Mark Marks has a cat. Just
yes,
I like to point
that's also
that out.
very important.
Yeah. Her name is Sigourney, which I love, obviously an homage to Alien. So
yes,
other fun tidbits you get in these comics. That's it for single issues. One quick reminder, giveaways open. Entering the giveaway puts you in the running to win one copy of each of those single issues we just talked about. So Barbalien, Lady Baltimore, and Crimson Flower. All three of those. Lady B is the keyword. And now we have books.
We have books. I bet you thought we were closing out, but we can't just only have single issues during the week. Dark Horse is so much more than that. And of course, art books are something that we do all the time. and we can't not have an art book for a week. And so this week is the Art of Supercell 10th Anniversary Edition. This one we partnered with Supercell, you may have guessed that already, to create a beautiful lore book chronicling the last 10 years of what Supercell is and has become. I will read a little description of it real quick. Chronicling each in release order, this volume is a must for any fans of Clash of the Clans, Brawl Stars, Heyday, Clash Royale, and Boom Beach. Explore each aspect of these games from developmental concept pieces to finished, fully rendered environmental shots. This book also gives a one-of-a-kind look into the games that have been released, as well as commentary from the entire Supercell team. This book is going to be fun. It's going to be lighthearted. It's going to be interesting. I highly recommend checking it out and seeing some of those beautiful action shots, some of that process work, and also, of course, the beautiful settings that they've created.
Oh, yes. Yeah, the Supercell team is very excited about this too. So yeah, look for more coming from them too.
One of my favorite things about the art books is there are often fans that we don't usually get to work with. So like Supercell, we didn't really have a huge following from them before this. And now we get to meet so many of their wonderful people that love Supercell stuff. And also so many wonderful licensors like Supercell that delight to work with. And I'm really excited that we got to partner with this.
And there's so many games too, like under their umbrella. So different.
I had no idea.
Yeah. I've complete 180 here. Also this week in new books, we have a new paperback edition of Breaklands. This is one of our Comixology titles. So if you didn't know, we have an ongoing partnership with Comixology Originals, bringing previously digital only series to print for the first time. So that's really cool. We actually just had Afterlift by Chip Zdarsky and Jason Liu come out. So that was the first one in this series. Now we have Breaklands joining the fold and a lot more on the way, including Youth. For example, you can see all of those at darkhorse.com. Just search our site for Comixology and these will come up. But so first time in print, this collects the first 5 issues in Volume One. This is a fun read for fans of fantasy, and I would say it's described as Mad Max meets Akira, which hard to go wrong. Also pretty huge titles to compare it to. I feel like it leans a bit more towards the Mad Max side of things personally, but it's definitely genre bending kind of blend of things. And if you like that style, if you like fantasy, kind of post-apocalyptic, but with a new twist, I think you will like this. Written by Justin Jordan with Taya Seta on art, Sarah Stern on colors, and Rachel Deering editing the original. We have Breaklands, Volume One. 150 years after the end of civilization, everyone has powers. Some big, some small, but you need them just to survive in this new age. Everyone except our main character, Casa Fane, which is a problem when her little brother, who has the potential to reshape the world, guessing that's a bigger power on the scale, he's kidnapped by people who intend to do just that and reshape the world once again. So this is very action-packed. Again, fun for fans of fantasy and Mad Max, and some Akira thrown in the mix too.
I think this book is going to be really fun for people, especially if they have just to catch up, just find out what's going on in this world, in the world of Breaklands. It's a really good read. I highly recommend it. And I love the art.
And if you were a fan of it digitally, now you can get it collected in actual print, which is fun.
Doing this. I'm not really a digital reader, so I am really excited about these Comixology books, so I can, read them in the format that I prefer.
Yeah. Agreed.
Are you ready for the next one? I'm really hyped about this one because it is Paul Tobin and Ron Chan bringing you not their first YA together. That's just not true. Another YA together, Earth Boy. So Paul Tobin and Ron Chan have partnered a lot on PVZ, which is one of our favorite middle grade books that Dark Horse publishes. We're well deep into those. I think we're maybe at 15 volumes of that one. Highly recommend checking those out. But this is their first creator owned project together, which is what I was trying to say when I almost messed that all up. But this tells the story of Benson, a young teen boy who dreams of venturing into space and becoming a galactic ranger. He is given the chance to make his hopes a reality when he's selected to join an elite academy full of strange characters and unusual alien classmates. But when a combination of culture shock, bullying, and administrative secrets shake his confidence, Benson must dig deep and fight to prove he belongs. This is a really good story. I mean, any kid feels like they don't belong at least once in their life. And I think this is a great story of what you can do about that, why that happens, and maybe the fact that that is a universal feeling. So if you're feeling like you don't belong, so does everyone else. Paul and Ron do a great job of bringing, middle grade stories that really mean a lot to the world. And I'm excited to see this book come out finally. Again, this is another one that was delayed by the pandemic. And I think kids across the world should read this book. So highly recommend checking it out.
Got really, really cute art as well.
It's really cute. Yeah. I love that cover too. It gets the point across so well, and there's so many beautiful things in this book that I just hope people check it out.
If you want to know more, we do have preview pages up on our site, so you can get a little sneaky peek inside. But also, we had Ron and Paul on a stream recently to talk about this, along with the team behind Savor, which is another middle grade young adult graphic novel that we had come out recently. And it's a really fun conversation with all of them about writing for middle grade YA, food, because Savor is very food themed. I confirmed that there is still pizza in the future in Earthboy, so don't worry. Yeah, and you can hear a lot more about what went into the creation of this story and Ron's extremely detailed art and creating all of these different characters, these aliens and things for Earthboy. So that's on our YouTube channel now if you want to check it out.
I'm always impressed by the monsters and aliens these artists that we work with create, because they're so human-like, but also not at all. So you can see the expressions and you get to know them as beings with emotions, but they look so vastly different from one another.
Yeah, Ron is a master at that. And
yes.
I know that he's a big fan of Mass Effect, so I feel like I can see a little bit of that influence in here.
Yeah.
Intentional or not. But yeah, this book looks extremely cute. It's in comic shops today, and it will be arriving, thanks to some shipping delays, in bookstores early next month. So if you're waiting on a pre-order, that's why it's coming early April.
Happens
a lot lately.
Yeah.
I heard that there's a ship literally stuck in the
yes. What's it called? It's called
the
Ever Given or something like that. Yeah, it's if you look at the pictures, I recommend looking it up if you haven't. But you can see all of the other boats that are just filling the surrounding waters on both sides. Because what else are they gonna do? It's the only passage.
How does this happen? How do you underestimate the width of your ship?
You ever do the thing where the spatula gets stuck in your kitchen drawer? And what it looks like just on a grand scale. I'm sure the people on the boat are feeling that sense of panic when you can't get your kitchen drawer open on a much grander scale.
I was picturing you go under an overpass and there's always a sign that's 14 feet or whatever.
Yeah,
and I was picturing a semi truck, just ignoring that and getting stuck and then blocking the freeway basically. Yeah. So that happened. And also we've had those winter storms. And so a lot of ships have been delayed. Yeah. And also the pandemic, it's still a thing. And ports everywhere have just been extremely backed up. So it has affected shipping, especially internationally, and Diamond comic shop dates versus Penguin Random House bookstore dates and all of that. So I have talked about that on streams before. Just stay tuned. Our website and our social media and everything will keep reminding you when things become available. I don't know, it's weird. What a time to be alive. We also have, I don't have one to show you to hold up, and I wish I did, but I have to talk to you all about Freaks of the Heartland. It is beautiful. the artwork in this, so it's a little bit older series now available in a new collection in a paperback. The series is by horror legend Steve Niles, with just look at even just the cover art. I feel like it evokes such a sense of place and atmosphere and mood. Art by Greg Ruth. So this pair teamed up for this short series called Freaks of the Heartland, now collected in this new edition. We've got some preview pages, which I'm not sure if we'll be able to cycle through right now, but you can also see them at darkhorse.com, that showcases more of Greg Ruth's just absolutely stunning artwork. Hey, there we go. Awesome. Thanks, Gary. Yeah, just like you feel like you're in this place, in this like middle of nowhere Midwestern town. The only thing I could really compare this to might be Tyler Crook's work on Harrow County. Just beautiful, painterly, atmospheric artwork. So this is an unusual horror series too. I'm a huge horror fan, so this really resonated with me. If you are too, I think you will like it if you haven't already checked it out. I recommend it. The plot is essentially Trevor's monstrous little brother lives in the barn behind the house. The boy's only 6 years old, but he towers over his older brother, and he possesses incredible strength. For years, Trevor has looked after his baby brother, keeping him from the light. But now that's all about to change. His family's secret is about to be revealed, uncovering the horrible truth of the small Midwestern town where they've grown up. So there's going to be some twists and turns, and all is not as you expect. This reminded me a little bit of like the Grendel tale too, actually. I don't want to say too much more. I don't want to spoil anything, but you would know Steve Niles from things like Criminal Macabre, which is something we have also had another recent series come out with. And yeah, so like I said, I can't recommend this enough. It's out at comic shops now. It should be at bookstores very soon. New paperback edition of a really excellent horror series.
Yeah, I haven't actually read this one, and I really do need to check it out because I mean the art is so evocative, and I am a huge fan of watercolors, and so whenever I see a beautifully painted comic, I'm game, pretty much no matter what it's about, but especially if you put Steve Niles on it. So I really do need to see it.
Yes, you should. I recommend it.
The next one we're going to talk about, I have been so excited about this book since it first crossed my desk many moons ago now. Kara will tell you that I have sung this book from the rooftops for as long as I possibly can, as much as I possibly can, and that is Gert and the Sacred Stone. It is an international book. It's originally from Italy. It's a middle grade book about a young orphan named Gert. I think Gert is the cutest name for anything. I think these creatures in this book are the cutest thing of anything. I think the story is perfect, and I think it's the most charming book a human could read right now. Kara's got one right now, and I'm jealous of her because mine is at the office where I am not, and I need to go pick it up. It's so cute. It's so cute. Any kids in your life will absolutely love this book. And also, it is for younger readers, but times are tough. I have a hard time focusing on anything that's too serious right now. And Gert is the perfect little joyous blip in your day that I could recommend. It's from creators Marco Rocci and Francesca Carita. Translated by Jamie Richards. This timely tale of an endless war between humans and nature follows young orphan Gert, whose land is shrouded in a thick fog, hiding ferocious, fantastical animals that besiege her village. Gert sets out to make sure no one else suffers what she has as a result of the war. But to do this, she'll have to do what is forbidden of young women like her: become a warrior. Unfazed, Gert sneaks into the initiation test, beginning an adventure that will prove to be much more than revenge. Gert's journey will teach her to accept hard truths, rethink the glorification of war and violence, improve if she is going to be the unlikely hero reimagined for her people's future. Any kid should read Gert. Gert is Gert in the Sacred Stone. I should say its whole name, but Gert. It's just Carol, what else can I say besides it's cute and charming and perfect?
There's like owl cats.
There's owl cats. Thank you. Yeah. What more do you need? It's she learns a lot. She learns so much about, the story of war and how it impacts people and beyond people, and what it's like to be in a community and what it's like to leave that community. It's so much more than you can imagine. And also it has owl cats.
Owl cats. If you like all the combo creatures from Avatar and Korra,
yes, perfect. Yeah. Imagine turtle ducks, but like a whole book about turtle ducks and everything like a turtle duck.
I would read that.
Yeah. And you can. Gert and the Sacred Stone.
Yeah. It's really cute. It's extremely cute.
Yeah. It's hard to talk about international books sometimes because previews and stuff like exclusives are hard to line up, so it's difficult to find ways to talk about them, but once they find the audience, they really do thrive. So if you got a kid in your life, or if you want to look at owl cats and just have a second of peace in your day, something to read before you go to bed, whatever you may need, Gert is the answer.
Gert is the answer to a lot of things. And between Gert and Earth Boy, man, we have some really good additions to the kind of expanding middle grade young adult books at Dark Horse. So that's really exciting.
I think if every person read Earth Boy and then every person read Gert and the Sacred Stones, we would be a better population. So it's up to you, audience, to begin that journey.
Yeah. While I continue to bang the drum for, like horror at the same time, these are much cuter and, like wider age range accessible, perhaps, ways to calm yourself during this crazy pandemic time.
Exactly.
We should do like a whole dive into Gert one of these days. But for now, we have a few more books to tell you about that are new this week. So another art book, I'm excited to introduce The Art of Keyforge. This is the first in a collaboration we have with Fantasy Flight Games and Asmodee. So that's near and dear to my heart because I am very much a board gamer, tabletop gamer, RPG player. So Keyforge is an Asmodee game, and we are excited to present this beautiful art and lore book done in Dark Horse's trademark, beautiful art book style. This will allow you to explore the crucible and the distinct houses of Keyforge through a collection of art and lots of different like commentary, examples of every deck, showcasing all of the art in each deck in great detail. So it's something that I think anybody who's even a casual fan of the Keyforge game would like, or if you just like that style of art, if you're into that kind of bright, bold fantasy game art, this is something that you might want to pick up. So The Art of Keyforge is one of our nice, beautiful, oversized hardcovers available in comic shops today. And if you're not too familiar with Keyforge, I suggest checking it out. Fantasy Flight Games, overall publisher is Asmodee. And this is also by the creator, just to throw this out there, of a little thing called Magic the Gathering. So if you like that, you might like this too.
I know it's silly, but I'd never really, before we got these Asmodee books, considered art books for like board games and stuff like that. And as soon as they came in, I was like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. So definitely go check it out. You can learn a lot about something. And also, check out the game if you haven't yet. It's a really fun one and it's a good time for board games.
And more to come from our partnership with Asmodee. You can see Arkham Horror, the art of, currently up for pre-order on our website right now. And more after that.
Let's see. All right. The next one that we have to talk about today is the Orville Launch Day. So as you probably know, Dark Horse has been doing kind of in between seasons spin-offs in comics of the TV show The Orville. So you can find The Orville on Fox, I believe. And it stars, I just forgot his name, Seth
MacFarlane.
MacFarlane, thank you. I was like, it's not Seth Rogen, it's the other Seth. Yes, and it's a really fun sci-fi show. I haven't checked it out yet, but I really need to. People who don't like sci-fi have told me that they like it, despite, and also people who love sci-fi have told me that they love it because. So there's something in it for both. In the Orville season 2.5 launch day, board the ship of the Orville and adventure through space with these new missions set between season 2 and 3. Executive producer David A. Goodman writes this feature that has Captain Ed Mercer and crew investigating an enigmatic alien device and contemplating the consequences of intervention when a primitive civilization faces an off-world threat. Yeah, I think that about covers it. There's a lot of interesting stuff. There are aliens, there are political dynamics aboard the ship, and of course, as with any sci-fi, you can apply it to our current day life and really learn a lot.
If you're a fan of the Orville, I think you will love these comics. And even if you're not, it's a good intro. I was not familiar with the Orville before we started doing these comics, but especially thanks to the cast coming to conventions and doing signings with Dark Horse, I became interested after meeting them because they are so great. Like, they're all such kind and generous people, and they do full cast signings with us. Hopefully we can do that again one day. But I was really impressed, and so that gave me such a good impression of the show that I wanted to check out the show and the comics. So
it really is so kind of them to come to our booth and do stuff like that. Not everyone has the ability to, but they definitely go out of their way to support us when they're at these shows, and that means a lot to publishers when stuff like that happens. Also, they're all very beautiful people. It's shocking when they're all in the booth at the same time. You're like, oh wow.
And there's a lot of them. Like, there's so many lineup. So you got to go down the whole line. And David A. Goodman, who, is a writer for the show and the comics, is always among them. And so it's a nice combo of having like the talent of the show and the talent on the comics together for one signing and panel. So it's very cool. Yeah. Great group, really fun series, and both visual and I don't even know how to say live action, I guess. Live action series and comics.
Yeah.
We also, we have a lot of books today, and
we're almost there.
But we got to mention them all because they're all important. So Bprd Hell on Earth is now here in a collected trade paperback, folks. Hell on Earth is one of many Bprd series. If you didn't know, Hellboy, there's a lot more to it than just the main Hellboy series, and the Bprd series had kind of been ongoing alongside Hellboy for a long time, and then continues. And if you weren't paying close attention, actually, it brings Hellboy back actually at one point. And that's not a spoiler because it's been out for a long time. So but anyway, so Bprd Hell on Earth, as I said, Volume 1 is now here in a trade paperback. Not to be confused with hardcovers. I know people really like the hardcovers. I'll just note that it's kind of like prose books, right? Like regular books at a bookstore where they come out first in a hardcover and then they move into a paperback, and then often they'll move into like a little paperback. That's kind of how these are going too. So if you really want to collect things in a hardcover, I absolutely recommend you get on them early, get them when they first come out. That also helps us know how many to print and how long to keep them around before we go into paperback. But anyway, Hell on Earth, Volume 1. This collects Hell on Earth, New World, Gods and Monsters, and Russia, those 3 miniseries. And it includes the short story Seattle and Duncan Fegredo's An Unmarked Grave. Duncan Fegredo being a fantastic artist in the Mignola-verse, and it's worth the price of admission alone, like for that. Also, you get an expanded sketchbook section from Guy Davis, Ryan Sook, and Tyler Crook. Speaking of beautiful art.
Yeah.
All in one beautiful trade paperback. So this takes place after the Plague of Frogs. Earth will never be the same, and the fractured Bprd struggles to battle dangerous monsters and humans alike, from a trailer park cult to a Russian town ravaged by a zombie-like virus. So this is a good place to jump on Bprd or round out your collection if you're looking for it.
Yeah.
Cover art, also, I will be remiss if I do not mention Lawrence Campbell.
Yes, it's a really fun one. And also, I mean, I know I've maybe even said this today, but if Tyler Crook draws or paints anything, I'm gonna read it. And he's got some wonderful work in here. So I highly recommend checking it out.
Amen.
All right, I think we might be at our last. Nope, we're not at our last book. We're almost at our last book.
We got two big ones remaining. And actually, I'm going to draw a giveaway winner really fast so that they have time to claim it. Please use the claim command. That means !claim. Congratulations to Almavera 17, ALMAVERA 17. That's been announced in the chat. And we'll wait for you to claim it so we can fulfill your prize.
Congratulations.
Yeah. All single issues that we talked about today. So Lady Baltimore being the big one.
Woo. It's good. I am going to talk about so this might be a little confusing to people because there was kind of a big announcement a little bit ago that we lost this license, but I want everyone to know that we're all pals in the publishing world, and sometimes we can share things. And one of the things that we are fortunate enough to share, I think with IDW currently, is Usagi Yojimbo. So we are releasing the Usagi Yojimbo Saga Volume 1 with a second edition. So you can celebrate Stan Sakai's beloved rabbit in his epic trek across the warrior's path in this second edition. So it's the first volume of our second editions. So there will be more coming. I know it's kind of a confusing phrase.
I'll just throw in there, like, people have been asking for reprints of Saga for a long time.
Yeah.
Rather than a reprint, you're getting second editions. So all the Saga volumes coming back.
They'll be back. We have to start with one. They'll continue. So just to be patient. If there's one you're missing in your collection, hopefully it won't be for too much longer.
With new covers.
Yes. So this one collects volumes 1 and 2. Wait. Whoa. Sorry. What does this collect? Okay. Collects volume 1, issues 1 through 16, and volume 2, 1 through 6. So it also has a limited edition, second edition. So if you go on our website, you'll be able to see the cover that you see currently. In addition, there is a beautiful hardcover that is a little bit more expensive. That includes the full color cover gallery of all of those books. And it is limited edition, which means it is signed by the one and only Stan Sakai.
And don't sleep on it. Order them now if you want them.
Correct. Listen to Kara. She's got the good advice on this one. They are beautiful art, beautiful covers. Stan Sakai is an absolute genius. If you have someone in your life who maybe doesn't know about Usagi Yojimbo, now is a fantastic time to tell them to get on board because we're launching the Volume 1 second editions.
And as more continue to become available for pre-order, you will see them listed in previews and at comic shops and retailers. So stay tuned for that. We're asked a lot, is it going to be the whole series? I mean, that's the plan. We're going to do all the Saga volumes. Yes. So Usagi is back. These are really great gifts if you know somebody who's an Usagi Yojimbo fan. And frankly, so should we all be, because it's fantastic. Final book out this week at comic shops. It's this little old Norse Mythology, Volume 1. We talked about this at the top of the show. Norse Mythology is continuing in a series 2. There will be 30 series or arcs total, and each arc of 6 issues will be collected in one hardcover volume, this being the first of its name. Volume 1, again, includes issues 1 through 6. This includes a number of different short stories from Neil Gaiman's best-selling book, Norse Mythology, each one illustrated by a different artist. The adaptation as a whole into comics is done by P. Craig Russell, who also does these main covers. Each issue had a variant cover by David Mack. You'll see that art in here too. Very beautiful. And we have the first story illustrated by none other than Mike Mignola himself. So that's very cool. Truly, the art is stunning for it, and you should not miss it. We also have stories illustrated by artists, including Jill Thompson, who does a gorgeous Freya and Freya's cats, for example. David Rubin, who illustrated the story of Loki's children, which is kind of sad, honestly. But David Rubin did an amazing job, as always, with the art. Other artists on this volume include Peter Kowalski and Jerry Ordway, who are actually recurring Neil Gaiman contributors. Colors, as ever, by Laverne Kinzierski, and cool lettering by Galen Showman. Actually, I want to highlight that because he does do some really fun stuff throughout with the letters. Let's see if I can pull one up. We also have some preview pages on our website, and we've been sharing on social media. But yeah, so this collects the first 6 issues and short stories from Neil Gaiman's classic. Is it too early to call it a classic? It's a modern classic, Norse mythology. Another thing I see often is everybody thinks that, these characters of, say, Thor and Loki, it's just Marvel. Nah. Norse mythology exists in the world outside of that. So this is kind of classic tales from Norse mythology retold in comics format by master storyteller Neil Gaiman and all of these amazing artists. So it's really beautiful. The cover art is quite different from the interiors. So even if that's not your thing, if you like Norse mythology, if you're a fan of Neil Gaiman, absolutely, I recommend this highly. It's available in comic shops and bookstores this week to make it easy for once.
Wow. Yeah, I really do recommend this one. And I mean, we just announced that Norse mythology, of course, is continuing. So check it out now as a collection, the stuff that's already out.
Yeah. Oh man. I'm like losing my voice. we got through it. It's a
we made it.
Big new comic book day, big new release week. Every week this month is like this. So keep checking back our website, darkhorse.com. Check it out for news and announcements as well, because we have a lot of those. Yeah. Reminder, Resident Alien is coming back for season 2, which is super awesome. Kate and I need to have like a separate podcast, I've decided, so we can talk about one of our other passions, which is the Great British Bake Off.
Correct.
Yes. So stay tuned for more of that. We have a lot of thoughts, but we've already taken a long time today, so we'll leave it at that. Our giveaway winner, if you want to claim. Yeah, unfortunately, if you don't claim it, we cannot connect you with the prize. I'm going to give it like one more minute here and we'll draw a second one, but again, we need you to be here because otherwise it gets a little confusing trying to round out prizes. So Almavira 17, if you are still here, please use claim in the chat or just send us a private message, a whisper here on Twitch, and we'll get in touch with you. Anyway, all these books that we talked about today are available now at comic shops, some at bookstores also if they are graphic novels. And thank you, Kate, for joining me to take us through all of these things today.
It was really fun. It's nice to be so busy again. There's a little bit, not like we weren't busy personally during the pandemic, setting up content and stuff like that, but it's nice to have so many books back on the schedule. There's a little bit there where things were occasionally dicey, and I think we're coming out of that. Well, obviously shipping delays are still real. Our schedule is booming, our books are coming, and things are really exciting over on our end of things.
Yeah, things are getting back on track. Like I said, really, for real, check out our website, darkhorse.com, and also comic shops and bookstores and anywhere you would normally look for books, because a lot of things are coming back on our schedule following delays from the pandemic. That includes a lot of manga, like What's Michael, Volume 2, cat manga, but just a lot of things. So keep an eye out. There's so much news, it might be kind of hard to keep up with it all, but and we drew a second winner in the giveaway just in case. So congrats to Favorite Customer. I recognize this name. There's someone who watches regularly, so thank you for that. Please use the claim command in chat, !claim, or send us a private message, a whisper here on Twitch. We'll wait for you to do that today, and try and get in touch with us by the end of the day today, please. Otherwise, thank you for tuning in. We'll be back next Wednesday and hopefully every Wednesday after that. And we'll announce some more special guests we have coming up very soon.
Yes. All right. It's so nice to see everybody. Bye.
Bye. Have a good afternoon.
Before the beginning, there was nothing. No earth, no heavens, no stars, no sky. Only the mist world, formless and shapeless. And the fire world, always burning. In Jotunheim, the home of the giants, is Mimir's well. Mimir, the wise one, the guardian of memory, knows many things. His well is wisdom. The ash tree grows between the 9 worlds and joins them each to each. The dragon Nidhogg lives in these waters, and it is always gnawing at the root from below. At the edge of the flame stood Sota. He will go forth from Muspel with his flaming sword and burn the world with fire, and one by one the gods will fall before him.